Good morning, people. So today's December 26th, and yesterday was Christmas. I should have recorded this video yesterday, but I wasn't inspired to do so because the topic of Christmas is something that I just stay away from. To be honest with you, I don't bother. I try to interact with people the least possible. And I try not to go to places where people are celebrating because I don't want to bring my energy of fuck Christmas type shit around. But late in the day, I was talking to my brother. My brother has kids. Well, I have a whole lot of brothers, but that one also has kids. And we were talking about, we briefly tapped into the topic of Christmas. And I was like, oh, I know you're in like full Christmas mode right now because I know he do the whole thing every year. This guy even brings me gifts. He used to bring me gifts all the way in Brooklyn. He lives way out in Long Island. I'm in very close to the Hampton. And he used to come down here and bring me gifts, bring this or whatever or whatnot. Thank goodness I didn't grow up in the Christmas celebrating holiday. Not because I didn't want to, not because my parents knew better. It was just because my mother was always traveling, and my sisters, well, they were my guardians, and my grandmother, they barely had supply or resources for a normal day, so they definitely was not going all in on Christmas Day for just one day. But they would do, they would do some things here and there, nice to accommodate us as kids. So I'm grateful for that. But my brother said something that was very profound and that made a lot of sense. And I thought, yes, although what he said makes sense, but there's another aspect of it that's not being taken into account. When he said, when you have kids, when you have children, you'll understand. It's nice to just help them see, and celebrate the whole Christmas thing and them believing in Santa and all of that stuff. And I told them, no, I personally think it's cool to celebrate Christmas when you know what you're celebrating, and you're not doing it in an attempt to think that you're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. In fact, you're celebrating a Roman pagan holiday called Saturnalia, and when you're not doing all the crazy drinking and naked and doing all kind of ridiculous rituals that used to take place during that specific holiday. And in fact, what you're doing is you exchanging gifts and wishing love and happiness and prosperity to your neighbors and your family and your friends. I think that's a good thing. Only problem is your kids grow up in this world, and to my understanding, the parents or the first two people they look forward to not lie to them, to tell them the truth, and to protect and care for them at all times, because they are not yet in position to do these things for themselves. But like my brother said, well, they're 8 now. One is 8 and one is, I think, 9 or 10. And he said, well, now they already find out, they know, and I'm glad they find out. And right at this age and not later. And I told them, how do you think they feel now that they found out that it's now that they found out that Christmas and Santa, it's all fake? How do you think they feel? And he said, you don't know. I think they feel relief and they're much more happier to know that it's daddy. That daddy and mommy is the person that has been working so hard all year to give them gifts and nice things for Christmas. And I said to myself, although it will be hard, and it will be a challenge when I am placed in this situation. When by situation I mean when I have children, to have to find a way to tell them, to get them to participate in Christmas, because I'm not trying to raise them to be completely out of the loop of what's going on in this world. Rather, for them to know what they're getting themselves into and where certain things come from. And I think it doesn't matter what level of understanding your child has. It's always best to tell them the truth until they can fathom the truth. But at least you've always been straightforward with them. You can allow them to believe their own imagination, because as a kid we live through our imagination, because we are not yet able to do things. Well, speaking as if I was a child, kids are not yet able to do things on their own, so they rely on their imagination to just soar. But nonetheless, you can still tell them the truth and let them know what the truth is from whatever age, until they are of age to understand the full concept of what you're trying to get them to understand. Like, we don't try to mimic a kid when they talk, when they try to say a word. We don't try to tell them something different. We know that they don't understand the word yet. We also know that they don't have the proclivity to want to say the word, but they don't know how to say it. But we don't tell them a different word. We mimic them and try to say the word in a way that they will understand and repeat it after us. Let me give you an example. If your kid try to say dad, and they're like dad, and then you thinking they trying to say daddy or dad, and you help them say it by saying the right pronouns. They're saying dada, and they're like dada, daddy, or dada, something to that effect. And the idea is you're not saying mother when they want to say daddy. You're not saying brother when they want to say sister. You're trying to help them to understand what they try to bring out, but the true version of it. Why do we do something different when it comes to pagan holidays? Why do we say it's for the kids? No, it's not for the kids. It's for ourselves. And it's selfish to lie to your kid for 8 years, 10 years, however long it may take them to find out that Santa is not real, and this whole thing is fake and made up. Jesus was not born on a goddamn 25th of December. But you're the first person they trust, and you're also the first person they have they now realize and come to know as the first person who lied to them. The very first person they trust to care for them, to protect and look after them and nurture them and help them grow into a productive member of this community, of society. That person lies to them. How do you think they're going to think of the rest of the world from there on? Sad people lie to do one thing, to protect either themselves or protect the lie and protect societal's status quo, in a lie that everyone is literally complicit. End. So I don't have children yet, but I am eager to know what the challenges will be when I do have children. But one thing I can tell you, I think it's much better to tell my kid the truth than to lie to them in order to protect their fragile brain. I don't see any merit in letting my child believe into a fantasy, something that's not real, just to protect them. No, I don't see any merit in that. I see more positive outcome in telling them the truth, however harsh it may be, and however hard it may fall. But at least it is the truth. I could be wrong, but I think what you know saves you from further destructions as opposed to what you don't know. I know there's a old adage that people use and say, what you don't know won't hurt. That's not true. It is the opposite. What you don't know is what hurt you. What you know, on the other hand, not that it cannot hurt you, but at least you have the power to control how much that particular thing hurt you, because you can then do something about it before it gets worse. Kind of like a lie. You want to know if someone is lying to you or telling you the truth, because you can determine the length of the relationship, especially if it's unhealthy. I mean, I could be wrong, but you could comment below if you have a different way to deal with that particular situation. And cheers.